I hear wonders from the Lord, but you eat steaks and chickens and moon pies and oatmeal pies and stuff all day long, and you're gaining all this weight. Well, how much spiritual insight are you having?
Wake up and decide who is the woman that I am today, and how is she going to meet the woman that God has called me to be.
A lot of us, we claim that we have self-control, but what we're really doing is holding on to things too long. And we're neglecting some areas of our bodies that we probably need to have self-control in.
Another scripture is in Proverbs. It says, without a vision, the people perish. And in another interpretation of it, or another translation, it literally says, without a vision, people cast off restraint. So if you struggle with self-discipline, it's because you struggle with vision.
What's going on, everybody? This is your boy, Laurel Cole.
And I'm Wanda.
And you're listening to the Forever Pod.
Hey.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Family. Happy Friday. You made it to another week. Where is this podcast finding you? What part of the country? What part of the world? Let us know, okay? We want to know who's tuning in. But if this is your first time ever tuning in, just to let you guys know, the Forever family is always growing and we always need you, okay? The purpose of this podcast is to have conversations in light of forever or eternity. As you know, we're believers. We love the Lord. We love each other. We love our kids. We love our community. And we are building something bigger than this world. We're bringing heaven to earth. All of the things, okay? We're just vibing with y'all.
Okay.
I know. Was that good? What'd you think?
Yeah, it was good. You robbed me, y'all.
But yeah, so just join us for conversations. Always give feedback. Let us know. And we hope that this continues to bless you and grow you just as we are being grown along the journey. Okay? This is our 4th time recording that intro, by the way. So shout out. How was your week though, babe?
It was good. I had a good week. Legs a little sore, but all is well. How
Why
about
are your legs so sure?
So what?
Sure.
Sure.
So sore. Wow.
Well, I decided to work out legs with you yesterday, and so I said, let's see what she's talking about. You know what I mean? And so I wanted to see what you were talking about, see what you were about, and it was a good workout. And so,
were you shocked?
No, I wasn't shocked. You know, I feel like I have my own thing that I do. I usually don't like working out with Wanda, but this time I said, let me try it out. Let's see what she's talking about. The audience
gasps.
Yeah, so let's see what she's doing. But it was good. We had a good workout, and I feel a little sore, which means it's a good indicator that I worked out some good stuff.
Yes. I asked him to rate my workout. He said he rated it
It was a 9.5 out of 10.
What was the other half point? What was missing?
What was missing?
Why couldn't you just give me a 10?
It was a 9.5 out of 10.
Where's my other half point?
It wasn't perfect.
What was missing?
I mean, there was a couple of things that, I would have added in or taken away. But it was good.
Like what?
I don't know. I just, it was good. That's a 9.5. It's a pretty good. See? That's a pretty good rating. 9.5 out of 10 is a good rating.
I just feel like I'm owed my other half point.
You can have 10 out of 10 if you like.
Okay, thank you so much.
I'm sore, so I might as well give you a 10.
Yes, so my love tank was filled because I love quality time. So that moment to me was everything. So thank you for, coming along my leg day workout.
It was good.
So, babe, what is discipline to you? Not just health, like spiritually, naturally, physically, all of the things. Maybe walk us through your journey to becoming a disciplined person.
Oh, my God.
Walk us through your journey to becoming a disciplined person, because I feel like since the moment I've met you, you have always been disciplined. You were working out. I remember you being in the gym at like 1 a.m. Yeah. But you've definitely grown in your disciplines, not just physically, not just the gym, like spiritually, all of the things. Like, what is discipline to you and why is that so important?
Discipline to me, I think that one of the reasons why I got disciplined, number one, when I was in high school, I loved the smell of metal. I remember the first time walking in. No, listen. I remember the first time walking into our workout facility. It was outside. I'm in the country, right, Springfield, Tennessee, and I went to school. I remember freshman year, I was like 90 pounds soaking wet. I didn't work out enough.
90 pounds.
I was 90 pounds soaking wet.
Wild.
Probably 89.
How tall were you?
At the time, I was probably like 5'1" or 2" or something like that. I was short. Freshman, I was a short.
In high school?
In high school. I was
5'1"?
I don't know. Okay, 5. Well, that's too much. But
okay.
Maybe 5'5", maybe.
Wow.
5'3" or something. 5. I was short, really skinny. So they said immediately, hey, man, you could be a wrestler. Let's get you in a wrestling. I said, I don't want to be doing all that grappling on the floor and stuff. I'm good. No, come on, we can get you in. I said, no, I'm good. And so years go by, I started growing a little bit more. And I didn't hit my growing spurt until college. But I remember junior year, going into senior year, I remember going into the gym and smelling the metal. I'm like, oh, this is different for me. And I started working out. I didn't know what I was doing, but I would watch other guys, football players, basketball players, watch how they work out. And I just fell in love with it. I was like, this is great. And I just started working out. And freshman year, I started getting a little taller, ended up being 6 foot tall, but I worked out every day. I worked out literally at MTSU, Middle Tennessee State, shout out Blue Raiders. Every single day, without fail, I was in the gym and playing basketball. And I don't know, something developed within me regarding that. I think that was something that I did consistently. It was a habit of mine. And I enjoyed seeing my body transform. I enjoyed the pain of it. I enjoyed being able to help others who didn't know what they were doing. And I'm like, hey, this is what you can do. So I was just obsessed with working out, obsessed with all of those different things. I was obsessed with trying to get big. I wasn't obsessed with eating right. I was just like, I'm naturally thin. I got good hormones, good genes. I'm just working out, you know?
Yeah.
But that thing that developed over time and built like my discipline physically. I don't think I got spiritual discipline until I got married.
Wow.
That's when I realized I'm kind of thin spiritually.
Oh, wow.
I thought I was okay, but it wasn't until I began to see more of me and see my weaknesses in a lot of different areas spiritually that I realized, oh man, I need to pray more. I need to maybe fast. I need, just certain things like that. I know the word. No, you probably need to go a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
And just seeing myself being married through a mirror, realizing I had undealt grief. I was just looking at the bigger picture overall. I was like, man, I need some help spiritually and emotionally. And so though I was there physically, there were a lot of needs in my life that were unmet. And so that's what made me, I kind of tackled my emotional and my spiritual discipline the same way I tackled my physical. And I had to build that over time.
Yeah.
And so I remember going on a 30-day sugar fast. Just to train my body spiritually. It had nothing to do with my flesh or my physical aspect, but it was like my mind. Like, how am I training my mind and getting closer to God through that? And it's just fasting, different things like that. And it takes time. I think that a lot of people think that discipline is something that is quick and easy. If I do this for a week, I'm good. No, discipline takes time. Sometimes it takes years. Sometimes it takes months. So that's kind of something, the practices that I've chosen. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
All right. But what about you? I mean, is there anything that you've done over the years that you feel like this is discipline for me?
Yeah. So let's walk back a little bit. When you hear the word discipline, right, it can have a lot of weird context, right? Like you can think of discipline like punishment when you're a child. You can think of discipline like a study in school, something that people teach you, train you, like, oh, she's in the discipline of medicine, But when you have internal self-discipline, it's based on the vision that you have been given for your life by God. And so for me, I think initially I didn't know where I was going in life. And so my discipline was non-existent because I had no end goal, and so I was just going with the flow. I was letting life happen to me. I was letting life hit me. I was just like, whatever happens, happens. So in high school, I was, didn't have to worry about working out. I just worked out for fun. I played sports. I was athletic. I could eat whatever. And then over time, I realized like, oh, eating whatever is not conducive to the person that I want to be. And I found myself having kids, doing IVF, all of these things, and having gained so much weight that I was out of control. And I looked at who I was, and I had the opportunity to like go with a coach, and she was like, hey, in 20 years from now, if you keep making this decision, this is what you will be. So I feel like my discipline and the goal behind my discipline correlated with who I wanted to be. If she told me, she was like, if you want to, DIE early, keep going and pulling up to the fast food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I was like, man, because my excuse was I have kids, I have a husband, I'm putting everybody else first before me. So like, I don't need to be self-disciplined. And my parents never taught me what self-discipline was. Everything that I did was me like having a gift towards it, and it was just a desire. But discipline was like, okay, 20 years from now, this is the person that I want to be. This is the person that I want my kids to remember me as. This is who I want my husband to remember me as. So to get to this vision, I have to have discipline. And so Paul says it like this. He says, like, so therefore I beat my body under, so that when I have preached to others, that I myself would not become a castaway. So based on the vision that he had for his life, that's what drove his discipline. So for me, when I didn't have a vision for my life, I didn't have restraint. Another scripture is in Proverbs. It says, without a vision, the people perish. And in another interpretation of it, or another translation, it literally says, without a vision, people cast off restraint. So if you struggle with self-discipline, it's because you struggle with vision. And so I think for me, I just was like, oh, I'm going with the flow and I have no vision for my life. I'm just trying to make it from day to day. And so I needed awareness to know that day to day will lead me X, Y, Z. And so I changed my life. I changed my habits. You were very much like encouraging. You always were accepting. You were always loving. You never made me feel like I was gaining weight or anything like that. But you also were like, always disciplined. You were always working out. And I saw you actually making strides towards being a better person. So I was like, okay, this is the girl that I want to be, not just physically, but like spiritually, emotionally. I want to be a person who does not like shy away from hard things. I want to be a person that's just not good on paper, but like, you know, my personal life and my private life is discipline. And so I feel like that's what drove me to like make a lot of changes. And I just didn't make changes like naturally about what I ate, but it was actually a lot of spiritual changes. It was physical, spiritual, emotional, mental. Like holistically, I decided this is the woman that God has showed me that I'm called to be. Because that's actually the bigger root here, is having a vision for your life that God has given to you, and say, based on the vision that God has shown me, these are what my habits have to look like, and making that step. So walk with me a little bit more about the vision that you've always had for your life, because even meeting you, I feel like you've always known who God has called you to be. Even when you weren't 100% sure, there were just things that you were not doing. Like you never had like a party phase. You never had like a club phase, a drug phase, anything like that. It's like you've always somewhat had a vision for your life. And I feel like maybe that's the thing that has driven your ability to be self-disciplined. So walk me through the vision that you think God gave you for your life and how that has driven you to become the man you are.
I think vision for me started with me knowing God. And I think one example of that, I was probably, 11 years old, 10 or 11 years old. And we had 2 dogs. They were English setters. They were like hunting dogs. So they hunt like birds and stuff. But we didn't know that. They were just dogs that we had in the backyard. And their names were AJ and Ann. And I remember AJ would escape every now and then out of the backyard fence. And one night we were headed to church. AJ had left. He's gone. And AJ was my dog. That was my boy.
I remember you telling me this story. I love this story.
That was my dog. That was my guy, you know. And so me being raised in the church, I'm like, man, I need to have some faith, because I hope that he's not lost. I hope he's not gone and whatever. And so we left for Bible study, and it was a Wednesday night. And that whole time I'm praying. I said, Lord, please bring AJ back. Please bring my dog back. Please, Lord. I'm praying. And then my prayers went from please to I know he's going to be back.
Okay.
And I'm just 11 years, I've been in the car. We left Bible study, and church was about 40 minutes away from home. So we were driving on the way home. And as we were driving on the way home, I was just having this belief, like my faith began to grow stronger and stronger and stronger. And as I was growing in my faith, knowing that he's going to be here, I was telling my brother, my sister, hey, AJ's going to be back. AJ's going to be back. And so it was around 9 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock at night. We pull up to the house, and here comes AJ greeting us in the front. I'm like, there he is. And so I think that experience for me shaped how I envisioned my life, being a man of faith. So since that moment, I was like, oh, so if I believe, it's going to happen. And I think for me, vision always starts with knowing who God is and having reverence and respect for who he is. Because once you know who he is, then he'll begin to show you who you are.
Right.
And even before then, I remember getting baptized. I remember saying I was going to be a preacher at 5 years old when I got baptized. But that's just something that just came out of me. But it was me exercising faith that showed me who God was, that made me believe that whatever I know myself to be, I was going to be that. Because if I believe it, it's going to happen.
Right.
And so that just, I guess, moved in every aspect of my life, physically, spiritually, emotionally. But it was really hard when my father passed. That was hard for me to kind of see God in that same light when he passed. So I feel like I shifted some things. I went harder in the physical aspect, and I kind of lost sight of the emotional aspect and the spiritual. But I think over time, as I began to see more of God, I began to see less of me and see where I faltered, where I went wrong, where I'm going wrong. And the only way for you to have a correct vision of your future is if you have a correct vision of God. And so many people lose sight of their purpose and lose sight of vision because they don't have sight of God.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered, because I had this question where I was like looking at different leaders in the church and different leaders who are well known, but they were overweight. And I asked myself, is that discipline?
You kind of talking
if you're overweight,
shockingly surprised me with this one.
If you're overweight, are you really disciplined if you're preaching the gospel of God? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you really encompassing discipline in all areas of your life? And I was looking at that because I'm like, I'm beating my body daily. I'm like out here grinding in the gym. Not to say that's the only form of discipline, but I'm like, if I'm doing that there, how much more should I be doing that spiritually and emotionally and mentally? But if I'm not doing that, if I'm only working on the spiritual aspect, I hear wonders from the Lord, but you eat steaks and chickens and moon pies and oatmeal pies and stuff all day long, and you're gaining all this weight, well, how much spiritual insight are you having for God not to tell you, hey, man, you probably need to slow down on the junk food, and you probably need to go work out in the gym?
That's tough.
How much more is God not? I'm sure he's sharing that with us.
Okay, I have a question for you. So when I was gaining all that weight, were you thinking the same for me?
Well, I've told you without telling you. I would say certain things like, hey, babe.
This is tough right now.
No, I would say certain things.
This is a
like,
hard one.
It's a hard one, but it's the truth. I would say
Okay,
certain things
talk
like,
about it.
hey, babe, like what I eat probably shouldn't be what you eat. And you get mad at me. What, Richie? I said, well, if I'm eating all this food, it's because I'm trying to gain mass. Like, I'm thin. I'm trying to gain mass. You know, I'm working out, I can burn these calories easy because I'm always in the gym. But if you're not always in the gym, where is that food going? It's getting stuck in you because you're not walking or running, or you're not killing those calories, you're not burning those calories. And so I would just say things like that. I'm like, hey, I would never, try to go crazy and say you just because I didn't see you as big. Anyways, my vision of you was different. It wasn't just physical. It was more so, and I loved you. All of you, whether you're big, small, whatever, like whatever size you are, I love you regardless. And so. Yeah, but at the same time, like if you're going to grow emotionally, spiritually, and mentally, like we also got to grow physically too, because I don't believe that God had called us to be, in a state of, in this,
no,
you know what I'm saying? I just don't feel like God has called us to that. I think that we really have to see, like, I always look at that. If you are disciplined in the spirit, you have to be disciplined in the physical. It doesn't work one without the other, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't want to step on any toes, but I got to back you up. Hold on. Proverbs 23:20 through 21 says, do not join those who drink too much wine or gorge themselves on meat, for drunkards and gluttons become poor, and drowsiness clothes them in rags.
Well, there it is.
I know, and it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow because I feel like, especially in church culture, people don't talk about weight because it's a sore subject, and like we gain weight for so many reasons, like especially women. It's like you could have just had kids. For sure. So I appreciate you being very graceful, and you never talked about my weight or made me feel any type of way. Of course not. But I think it's a topic that no one talks about, and it's also like people are really passing away from these unhealthy habits, and how much more life could you extend to yourself if you would just have some daily disciplines. And if you feel like, you know, I can't stop eating or I can't do XYZ, like go to the doctors, get checked out, get your blood work done, invest in your health, because your body is like the only vehicle that you'll ever have to carry the gospel, right? And if your body's not well, then you have a ceiling. But yeah, someone was saying that, like, do not eat the food, do not crave his deli. Like, it goes on and on, like, about wisdom and eating and all of these healthy habits. And I remember when I was like, I think I was postpartum with Koa when I got this nutritionist, and I went to the doctor and all this stuff. And my nutritionist was like, girl, like, hey, I understand that you are a mom. I understand that you have a husband. I understand that you have very limited time in your day. She's like, and it's actually very selfish of you not to take care of yourself when you have kids who need you to live long. And if you die early because you just didn't take care of yourself, they are going to have to grieve you. Do you want them to grieve you, or do you want to, like, live a long life as much as you can plan? Because many are the plans in a man's heart, but the Lord's purpose prevails. So we can plan and we can do our best to, like, be good stewards over the thing that God has given us, which is our body. But at the end of the day, he still has the final say. But faith without works is dead as well. So, like, if you have faith in God, then you also have to have works, right? As long as we are doing our part, then God can do his part, right? And we just open our hands to say, okay, God, I'm doing my part. I'm waking up. I'm disciplined. I'm not overindulging. Like, we talk a lot about, like, oh, this person is getting drunk. Oh, this person smokes. Oh, this person is on drugs. But it's like, but you eat a lot. You eat 5,000 calories a day, whatever. Like, what is the difference there? Is there a difference?
I mean, there's no difference, because the Bible, my dad taught me the scripture when we were kids. 1 Corinthians 3:16. Know you not that you are the temple of God and the Spirit of God dwells in you. And I always thought that was just spiritual. Like, know you not that you're the temple of God. Oh, don't, smoke, don't do, don't fornicate, all those other things. But I didn't realize that there is an outer temple and there's also an inner part of the temple as well. So not only do I keep up the outer temple, but I also have to keep up the inner part of the temple. And when you look at the temple, you have to look at, there's something that's beautiful about it. It's a place where God dwells, but it's also a place where people find you and meet you. And one thing that I've realized is that I'm always attracted to, when it comes to, like, men, I'm always looking at, okay, that's a great physique. That makes me say, okay, he's disciplined. I remember one time we were walking at 12 South, this dude walked out of his, I don't know if it was a Porsche, Lamborghini or something. It was a Porsche. He walked out, him and his wife, him and his girl, I guess it was his wife, but an old dude, but jacked. Like, I mean, I'm talking about fit. I was like, yo, bro. And we were both like, oh my God, this couple is there. They are, like, really, their physique is attractive. And it made me want to say, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Da, da, da. It made me want to introduce myself to him and say, hey, what do you do? Why is that attractive? Well, it's because the outer temple has now led me to see, what have you been doing within that caused you to look this way, that caused you to have this posture, that caused you to have this aura about you. And I think a lot of people miss the physical aspect of it. It's not about being cute. It's not about looking good. It's not about, flattery. Oh, I'm doing this because I want attention. No, it's about, like, what you do on the inside should reflect on the outside. And I see that a lot of people, especially in ministry, I just grew up around it in church, where a lot of these people claim to be so holy and know from the Lord. I hear from God and speaking in tongues and doing all these different things, but they can't let go of the plate. And I'm looking at your body. I'm like, dude, how are you so engulfed with the Lord and God has not told you to put the plate down? You don't fast, like you don't do prolonged fasting at all, because you could be slim if you were fasting. You feel what I'm saying? Like why are you having heartburn? Why are you having diabetes? Why are all of these issues arising? But you know so much Bible that it don't match with me, because I don't want to go to you because it looks like you're not disciplined. But if I can go to somebody who looks like they've been working out, or look like they look like all right.
Take a walk.
Yeah, they look like they walk and stuff like that, as far as from a man's standpoint. I'm not looking at women this way. I'm looking at from a man's standpoint. I'm like, I have more respect for you, because not only are you taking care of your outer, it shows me that you're taking care of your inner.
Well, and Paul says that bodily exercise profits little. That means it still profits. It's profitable, for sure. Right? How many times in the Bible do you say, well, Jesus took a walk? Jesus loved a good walk, right? And there's so many scientific studies about like how being in nature and like being with trees and being in the grounding techniques that really help with your anxiety too. So I don't want this to be like a shame session. I definitely don't want anybody to feel like, hey, if you're overweight, and I feel like people should know, like if people knew you, they would know that. I just don't want it to come off like very harsh, because it's not like, we're not trying to be harsh, or we're not trying to like come at you if you are feeling like you know, are struggling with your weight or anything. It's not even about weight. It's about internal and what you feel. Think about it. When you go to a basketball game, right, and you look at LeBron James, I know you don't like him like that, but like, let's say Steph Curry, right? People are paying not for the person, they're paying for the person's discipline. Miles Monroe talks about that. When you see somebody, you're paying for the discipline that they put in. Same for like when you go to a doctor, right? You're going to a doctor and you're paying them to see you, and you're trusting that they are like the right person for the job because they have put time into the discipline of medicine. Same for a pastor, same for a therapist. Like, I don't want to talk to someone that just has an opinion and watched a couple of YouTube videos. I actually want to go and sit down and be amongst people who have the discipline that matches the degree, and that matches, like, not that you always need a degree, but I'm just saying like that matches what you're selling. And so people will buy your discipline. Leaders are disciplined. Another thing Miles Monroe says is like, if you want to be successful, do not chase success, but make yourself into a person that is valuable. And so for me, my seasons recently have felt like very quiet seasons, right? Because it's not a lot of things that I'm doing publicly. But what I've learned in like journaling daily, waking up to pray, listening to my little William Augusto and praying around the house, fasting, going to the gym, getting 10K steps in every day, making sure I drink my water, I've actually become closer to God in having discipline and routine, because now my flesh is dying and I can hear him clearly. My spirit is stronger. I'm more in control of my body. I go sit in a sauna. I used to do cold plunges. I don't do those anymore, but I'll sit in a sauna. Why? Because I want to build up my mental fortitude so that I can like outlast and be better every day and be growing outside of comfort, you know, like I want to be awakened. I want to be able to hear the Lord. I want to understand what it means when he says to suffer with him and all of these things. And so it's like, some things you can't do by yourself. Some things, the first step is just to realize like, oh, I need help, and it's asking for help. Because you don't have to have it all figured out. And I feel like that's what's overwhelming. Because for me, every time I would try to like get myself in order, I felt like I needed to like have 15 points at the beginning of a year and had to do all 15 all at once. But what really actually helped me was me being 6 weeks postpartum and taking a 10-minute walk with Koa. And then after I got my walk down, I was like, oh, a 20-minute walk. After I got my walk down, I was like, oh, let me find a gym that has a teacher, because I don't know how to use the weights. So even me doing the leg routine, I didn't know how to do that 3 years ago. But guess what? Now that I went to a class, I submitted myself to someone else who knew more than me. And I just kept showing up. Then I was like, oh, okay, I that's another task that I have under. Now I want to be a person that prays every morning. I want to be a person that journals every morning. I want to be a person that talks to God. Oh, maybe I'm just driving in the car for 10 minutes and I just whisper a prayer to God. I want this to be a podcast that people understand, like, there is strength in daily disciplines, and especially if you're a believer who wants to live for something bigger than yourself, it's time to start questioning everything. It's time to start having daily commitments and daily goals and starting somewhere. But to keep saying, I'm too busy, I can't, I don't know where to start, those are no longer excuses after listening to this podcast.
So what you're saying is there's a lack of self-control.
Right.
I think that's what you're embodying right now.
That's the fruit of the Spirit.
And that's a fruit of the Spirit.
Yeah.
Right. You said that was like a slept on.
That's highly slept on. Yeah. Like fruit of the Spirits are key, y'all. That's actual fruit that you have the Spirit inside of you.
That's good.
Can't get around it.
You can't get around it. Right. And I'm not trying to shame anybody, but what I'm wanting to get the men to understand is that when you train your body, you know, to a certain degree, when you beat your body to a certain degree, when you have that self-control, you're able to see more clearly. And I think that like I think there's this crave where they said the runner's high. When you're running all the time and all of a sudden you get this high. What does that mean? It means you have this clarity of mind. Like, oh, wow, I see things clearly now. When you work out and then all of a sudden you feel the recovery piece of it, what is that doing? Is you're breaking down muscles in order for them to be built up again, bigger, newer.
Right, yeah.
That is the same format that you use spiritually. It's the same format that you use mentally and emotionally.
Right.
You break things down for them to be built up stronger.
Yeah.
And so there's this book that I'm reading by Sharon Miller. It's called The Cost of Control. And what it's teaching me is that in order for us to have true self-control, there are some areas that we have to lose control in and to allow God to...
That surrender?
To surrender. Because a lot of us, we claim that we have self-control, but what we're really doing is holding on to things too long. And we're neglecting some areas of our bodies that we probably need to have self-control in. And so when I see people that are really good in one area but really lacking in another area, where they're holding on to this one area too long and because they're trying to control what they're good at or trying to control what they feel like they have mastered already, and the areas that they probably need to continue mastering they've let go of because it was too hard. You know, so that shows me, okay, that there's a cost to that, because if you let go of the areas that you haven't mastered, then you're probably going to suffer in ways that you probably didn't think that you would suffer.
Right.
And so it reminds me of when God was talking to Cain. And Cain was bitter and angry that God accepted Abel's sacrifice. And the Bible says that he tells Cain, he says, hey, man, sin is crouching at your door. And it desires, it's lusting after you.
That's good.
Master it.
That's good.
I was like, wait a minute. God
That's
is telling
good.
God is telling Cain to master that thing that's desiring to kill you. That's
Yes.
crouching at the door,
Yes.
waiting for you.
Yes.
And that requires self-control. Master that.
Yes.
Cain wasn't able to master it.
Yeah.
He allowed it to control him.
Yes. So what
That-
you're talking about is even deeper than just food.
Right.
You're talking to people that are trying to overcome addictions, whether
Yeah.
it's to, sleeping around
Yeah.
or pornography.
Yeah.
You're talking about people who are trying to master alcohol. Master gossiping,
Yeah.
master slandering, master
Mockery.
anything,
Gossip, all that.
gossip, all it, like you're literally talking about something so deeper, because that's the importance of daily discipline.
Daily
And when you
discipline.
master your body,
Yes.
that's how you live in the spirit.
That's how you live in the spirit.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because I want you to be very clear. I want people to understand what we're saying is not just, oh, don't eat this or walk that
Yeah, it's
way.
not just
like
working out.
master
Yes.
your flesh.
Master your flesh. Master your flesh. Master your temple. This is the temple of God. Master it.
And how does that drive your daily disciplines? Like, who are you without discipline?
Without discipline, I'm an uncontrolled man. Without discipline, I'm a city without walls.
That's good. That's Proverbs.
Without discipline, I have no boundaries. There is no end to me.
Wow.
I allow my flesh to run rampant. I allow my eyes to wander wherever they want to go. I make no covenants with myself. I make no covenants with God. I make no covenants with you. I allow sin to be my God. I allow everything else to be my idol. And I do not allow God to be the very thing that I'm aiming for, that I'm aiming to push toward. That's what an undisciplined man looks like.
Yes.
It's somebody who literally has no fence around him, and that you can go in and out however you please.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of men struggle in this area because they've gotten comfortable with no fence. They've gotten comfortable with no boundaries. They've gotten comfortable because it takes a lot of hard work to become self-controlled, to master the very thing within that's trying to control your very being. It's trying to control how you think, control how you walk, control how you operate, control
Yeah.
how you connect and have relationships with others. Like, sin is crouching at the door. It's looking to desire you, to lust after you. Master. Every aspect of your life is something that you have to master. It's not just the
Yes.
gym. It's not just Bible. It's not just mentally. It's not just spiritually. Like,
Yeah.
it's every aspect of your life you have to master.
Yes.
That requires self-discovery that you were talking about before. That requires looking at your why, looking at what you're passionate about, but looking at your traumas as well, looking at the areas that you are weak in, looking at the areas that you're strong in. It encompasses every aspect of your body. That requires work, because you're
Right.
going to hit some pain points that you realize, like, oh man, I don't want to talk about that. Let's move on. No. Master that, because you not talking about that thing that's causing you to be bitter is going to cost you your life.
Right.
It's going to cost you from being the best version of yourself.
Right.
It's going to cost you.
Right.
So let's master that. Don't allow bitterness to control you. Master it.
Right.
Don't allow hatred to control you. Master that. Don't allow gluttony to destroy you. Master it. Every area of your life we have to learn to master, and that is hard.
And God is so gracious that he's always taking us on a journey to master something else.
Right.
And I think it's pride and it's self-righteousness to think, oh, because I don't do these top things that I'm all right.
Right.
But it takes a great deal of humility to listen to the Lord daily and walk with him for him to continue to like sharpen you and edify you and say, hey, maybe caffeine is not good for you anymore.
Right.
Maybe that's causing anxiety. Like just to continue to be able to reveal different areas of your life that you need to be mastered in.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, a person that has a vision for their life, not just a vision for themselves, like, oh, this is my purpose, but like a vision, a God-given vision placed inside of them, they walk very narrowly.
Yeah.
They're not
very strict life.
They live a strict life because it's like there's a lot of things that I'm not. Once you know who you are, then you know who you're not.
Yeah.
Then you know what you don't do anymore. Then you know what friendships you don't have. Then you know what conversations you don't have. You know what food you don't eat. You know who you are. So like a lot of times we go to the store now and you'll say, oh, I'm about to pick up this. I say, I don't eat that. Right?
Yeah.
Because I know who I am now.
Yeah.
And it's not that, oh, that's not a good thing. Oh, that doesn't taste good. It's just like I, as a person that I am and the person that I want to be, she doesn't eat like that anymore.
You know what
she
that
no
does?
longer does that.
You know what that does? Offends people.
It will be offensive, but at the end of the day, like when you are on a narrow path, you live discipline. That's why he says, without a vision, the people perish. The people cast away restraint.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a vision. But when you know who you are, when you know what God has called you to do, like if God has called you to have a business that is going to be, very wealthy and you're going to have this business that helps communities, you don't have time to be eating pizza every night.
Right.
You don't have time to be gossiping on the phone for hours at a time. You don't have
TV
time to be
all the time.
watching Netflix series. You don't have time for it because your life is very strict because you know where you're headed.
Right.
So when you don't have vision, you have no restraint. But when you do have a vision, it just eliminates everything. So there was a time in my life where I knew what God was telling me to do, but I had not gotten in alignment with his vision. So I would just hang out with whoever was nice to me. I would go to any event because I was invited. I would say yes to everything. And guess what? I had no restraint, and therefore my vision was blurred. But as the Lord began to just unravel what my vision was and what the vision is for my life, I said, oh, it's very clear.
Yeah.
So I know what I no longer do. And so every day I get the option to wake up and decide, who is the woman that I am today, and how is she going to meet the woman that God has called me to be?
That's good.
And so I think the biggest thing here, before we talk about what it is that you can change, before we talk about the disciplines, before we talk about you taking a walk and you doing X, Y, Z, let's first discover what is God's vision for my life, because you did not create yourself. I'm going to look at y'all. You didn't create yourself. Therefore, you don't have the vision for your life.
Right.
You may have gotten a lot of liberties to plan things according to your gifts, but right now is the time for you to go back and say, God, what is your vision for my life? And I'm sure it's connected to your gift, but submit that to him and say, God, what is your vision for my life? And once you get an understanding of what his vision is for your life, then you know this is the narrow road I walk. I don't go out for drinks anymore. I don't XYZ because God has given me a vision for my life and I don't have much time to waste.
Yeah.
I don't have any more time to waste.
Right.
So when you're disciplined and when you're self-disciplined, right? It's almost like you're no longer being dragged by life. You are telling life what to do.
Right.
You're the boss.
Right. You make life happen.
You're the boss of your own body. You're the boss of your own self.
Yeah.
And for me, I want to be in control of my body, bro. Right. I've been out of control for a long time. I've lacked awareness for a long time. And at this point in my life, I want to be in control. I want to be the one that wears the pants alongside God. I want to be a steward over what he controls.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah. Anything else? Any last words you want to say to anybody, people?
I feel that I think anytime that I think there are pocket-sized visions and there are projector-sized visions. And I think you have to understand. Like,
that's good.
When you have a pocket-sized vision, you probably don't run to it as hard. right? Those are maybe short-term visions, but you have to have a projector-sized vision for your life. When you have a projector-sized vision for your life, you sacrifice everything for that, right? You do everything you can for that. And if that vision is not centered around Christ, you may lose yourself fighting for something that may not even be for you. So you have to understand, like you were saying, you said something very, very, very important. I think every person needs to understand. Make sure that your projector-sized vision is aligned with God. If it's not aligned with His will, you're running towards something that you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
You're going to run into false expectations. You're going to run into false hope. You're going to run into that. And so always make sure that whatever your vision is for your life, that it is aligned with God and submitted to Him. And so that's one thing I will say also for all the men out there who are trying to figure out like their purpose in life. It starts with discipline. It starts with finding a daily routine in your life. And I think when you go through a daily routine, when it comes to prayer, when it comes to reading the Word of God, when it comes to exercise, when it comes to doing your vocation or whatever it is that you do, spending time with your family, making a daily practice of this is who I am, this is what I do, this is my routine. Making a strict routine of your life will eliminate isolation, but it will also invite community because you'll begin to see others in a different light. You begin to share what you've learned to others. You begin to attract people who are looking to be whole, who are looking for a better way of their life because you are now living it.
Right.
And again, that's the projector that's coming out of you now because it's something that's embodied within you.
Right.
And so it always starts from within. And whatever is holding you back from being what God has called you to be, whatever is holding you back from being disciplined, you got to tackle that. You got to master that. You got to ask God, like, what is it that's holding me back from me being the best version of myself, to be the fullest version of myself?
Right. I agree with that 100%. And I would also add that a lot of people can hear what you say and hear what I say, and they can say, well, I have no vision, so I don't have a reason to be disciplined. Y'all have something going for yourself, but I don't have a reason to be disciplined because I don't have anything going for myself. Maybe I work at Walmart. Maybe I don't. Walmart caught a whole random stray for no reason. But like, maybe I just don't know what my vision is for my life. And so to that, I just want to add to what you said, which is amazing, that faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
So as you begin to just try to be this person that you've always dreamed of, have faith that the vision is there and that God is going to reveal that vision. Get quiet. Allow your brain and your mind to get quiet to listen in for God.
Declutter.
Faith without works is dead, but faith is the substance of things hoped for. You hope that there's bigger. You hope that there's more for your life.
Yeah.
It's the evidence of things not seen.
Yeah.
So you have to start and create these regimen and create this lifestyle before you have the substance of what you're hoping for. But I would say couple your faith with your works, because James said, you can't tell me that you have faith and I can't see works.
Exactly.
I got to see the works that follow your faith.
Yeah.
But you got to couple them both together. And I am so confident that once you guys do this alongside us, because we're doing it every day, you will see a breakthrough in your life.
Yeah.
You will feel very proud of yourself. You will feel very proud of the God in you. And I pray that it would unlock something even deeper inside of you that has been hidden and that the enemy has tried to hide inside of you. I want to say this last thing. Destroy your flesh before your flesh destroys you.
That's good.
And on that note, I want to pray for people because this one is a heavy one.
Go ahead and pray, baby.
Father, I pray for every person under the sound of my voice, Lord, that they would hear this message, God, and that it would prick them, God. I pray that you would meet them in their own particular ways, God. You know the weight. You know all of the excuses, God. You know all of the things that they are dealing with, God. Let them know first that you are grieved with them for the things they're facing, God, the things that have gotten them to this point, God. But I pray right now in the name of Jesus that faith would ignite, that hope would be inspired, God, and that the people behind this audio recording, Lord, would experience breakthrough, God. Give them the next steps, Lord. And I pray that you would reveal your vision for their lives even now. We bless you, God. We thank you for the testimonies that will come after this. And we bless you. And I thank you for each word that was spoken, Lord. Let it fall on good ground. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Love y'all so much.
Love y'all, man. Y'all be good. Peace.